Well, I spoke with the pastor, wonderful man, the family's pastor, and I thought it would be better not to do anything where there are lawyers involved. They wanted me to speak, but they wanted to have lawyers involved, and
Why are you not meeting with the family of Jacob Blake while you're there?
Well, I spoke with the pastor, wonderful man, the family's pastor, and I thought it would be better not to do anything where there are lawyers involved. They wanted me to speak, but they wanted to have lawyers involved, and I thought that was inappropriate, so I didn't do that. But I did speak with the pastor of the family, who's a fine man, a wonderful man, and I think we had a great talk. And I may at some point, do that, but they did have a lawyer that wanted to be on the phone, and I said, no, that's inappropriate, but I just gave my best regards.
Mr. Blake, what is your reaction to that? The president saying he doesn't want to speak with you because your lawyer has to be on?
First of all, I'm not going to play politics. This is my son's life we're talking about. Second of all, we don't have a family pastor.
Yeah, so what is he talking about there when he says that?
I don't know who he talked to. Furthermore, I don't care who he talked to. If he didn't talk to Benjamin Trump didn't talk to Crump, man, there's nothing to talk about, man. There's nothing to talk about. I'm not playing. This is not politics. This is about the life of my son. And Benjamin Crump represents my family.
And Ben Crump, what is your response to the president? I just don't get that. How is it that the president doesn't want to speak to the family because you want to be on the line? I just don't. Maybe you can help me understand this.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling, Jim. And as Mr. Blake said and Miss Julia, they want me and my legal team, Attorney Salvi and Attorney Lamar, to be involved in everything that happens, because while they're concentrating on their son's life, they want us to concentrate on the fight for justice. And last I checked, Jim, we have a Department of Justice investigation going on. So it would be most appropriate to have your counsel on the phone when you're talking to anybody involved in the government that would determine whether those individuals will be held accountable for shooting your son 7 times in the back in front of your 3 grandchildren.
And Ben, Mr. Blake didn't seem to have any idea who the president is talking about when he talks about this pastor. Are you aware of the White House making any attempts to speak to the family, speak to you, speak to anybody associated with this family?
Yes. Miss Julia Jackson, Jacob's mother, her pastor is Pastor James, and Attorney Salvi was trying to coordinate for the president to call while he was in communication with Miss Jackson and us, and she was ready to receive the phone call. But for some reason, the call never came, and we now understand why. I don't know why the president wouldn't want the family to have their lawyers on the phone. He seems to have lawyers with him when he talks to people.
And Mr. Blake, is there anything you would want to say to the president?
We're not playing politics.
I'm worried about my son, and we're not dealing with politics.
Coming back. So, Civic, we probably won't announce the exact route because we know it's live. So we're going to start here and head west. So you'll see us, so just trail us or whatever, and then we're going to end up in Civic Park where we're going to have speakers, just a few speakers, and then we'll take the same route coming back. So Civic Park is where we're going to end up for our brief march, and then the Blakes will be here momentarily, and they'll be able to address you guys for a few minutes, and then we'll end up in the park where you can speak with them in greater detail.
That's the park by the courthouse?
Yes, across the street, yes. Civic Park.
How do you want to wait, Mr. Blake?
Excuse me?
A little bit about what message do you want to send out to the community as we await this decision?
We want to send out the message that no matter what the decision is, no matter what the decision is, we are seeking nonviolence. We want everybody to come out, make as much noise as you want, but we don't want any destruction of property, businesses. We don't want anyone harmed. We want everyone to return home the same way that they left. So again, we're for nonviolence. Anything else is just not acceptable for this community. So again, if you're going to come out and join us, we ask you to do so nonviolently. We're asking, no matter what the decision is that Gravely makes, that we practice nonviolence. There's a difference in peace and nonviolence, and we're going to practice nonviolence.
How do you feel about the National Guard being called in?
I believe personally that it may agitate a lot of people, their presence, because people have strong beliefs about the National Guard occupying their space, right? But that's a call that the city made. That's not anything that we were able to even speak on or have any input on. I guess that's what the mayor saw fit to do, so they're here. We know that in the next couple of days, Kenosha is going to be a very tumultuous place. We have people coming here tomorrow, the militia. So let's just hope they do their job and everything stays nonviolent.
Do you hope that they communicate with you as community organizers?
We do, but to be honest, there has been no communication with any of the activists, any of the organizers. No one has said anything to the family about what the decision will be, or even just keeping us abreast as to the investigation and the progress or lack of that has happened. So we have been very disheartened by that, because the community deserves to know what's about to come down the pipeline. There's people here, their lives, their businesses, their children, schools in, there's all types of things going on. So to all of us, the activists, and all of us that work together closely, we feel that would have been the right thing to do. So we don't know who's in control of that decision, but we're not happy about it, the lack of communication.
What do you have to say for those who are looking to come to Kenosha to cause violence?
Right, we're saying don't do it. Do not do that. If you come to Kenosha and you're going to practice violence, then you should be arrested. So I'm a homeowner. I'm a business owner. I don't want anybody burning down and tearing up my stuff. Nothing is resolved from that. So if those are your intentions, then you need to stay where you are. We don't have a place for that here in Kenosha. We don't support that. The last time all of that happened in August, we know that it was not our community members. We know it was outside people coming in and sowing destruction. And that is not for us, because we're left with the aftermath, and that's just not right or fair to anyone. Any more questions? Okay. So the Blakes will be here shortly, okay? Tanya, Tanya, McLean, MC, capital Lean. Hold on one second, please. We're going to have Portia Bennett Bay come up and address the media.
Hey. How y'all doing?
We're about to bring out Justin Blake, the uncle of Jacob Blake Jr. and Jacob Blake Sr., okay? All right. Clear his path. Yes. Happy New Year, everybody. How are you? Thank you for coming. Before we address the crowd, before we address the media, we want to let the crowd know that Jacob Blake is here. Jacob Blake Sr. is here. So, we thank everybody for coming today. This is our way as the Blake family, and tipping our hats to Kenosha to maintain controlling the narrative of what's been going on here in Kenosha since we've been up here the last almost 5 months. We got my brother here today standing fast with us, showing solidarity. We really wanted to mention tight on a couple of things that's going on. Number one, we believe this was handled in a terrible manner, that justice could have taken place way before it got 20 and 30 below. We believe this is part of the play to push what's been perpetual systemic racism in Kenosha, the city, this county, and Wisconsin, the state. But it's a new day. It's 2021, not 2020. In 2020, we learned a lot. We were able to really analyze a lot and see where we stood. 2021 is the year that we tell the truth and get everybody to stand up and make some noise. There's a new sheriff in town. He's wearing a red, black, and green suit, and he's demanding justice for everybody that looks like little Jake. And it's going to start here in Kenosha. This is chess, not checkers. So although they're trying to use a scapegoat for the police officer and saying he was supposed to be trying to save kids that were going to get kidnapped, well, it sounds like he had a little passion and some desire to save some kids and do right, but he did wrong instead. He fired a revolver less than a foot from the head of the children that he was supposed to be trying to save. So it's 2021. We're going to call everything what it is, just like we did when Barr made a misstatement that my nephew was committing a felony and had a weapon. It wasn't so, and that's not so. This police officer Shetsky needs to be fired, indicted, have his day in court, and convicted. And until we get that as a Blake family, we're not leaving Kenosha, Wisconsin. We have a tremendous support system here through LOC, Leaders of Kenosha, through the Collective, through all the way up to Milwaukee, and the many different organizations that have been present and are present here today. We do not want you to leave here not fully understanding that the Blake family one day will get justice. Because if you had a small or minor job in your life and you worked your way from the mail room up to an office, you know it takes a little time. So we're a patient family. We've been fighting for justice through our families for generations. Through my great-grandfather who was a Garveyite, my father on that side who was a civil rights activist that marched with King 3 times, on the other side a Pullman Porter and the Tuskegee Airmen. So we know about patience. But one thing we're not going to do is allow the United States of America, one of the richest countries in the world, to virtually jail each and every African descendant that looks like little Jake. Because if they get away with this, saying this gentleman was trying to protect the children from being kidnapped, then that means it's an open run on all African Americans around this country and around the world, because everybody follows this country. So that's why it's imperative that we get a federal look at every case that's taking place with police officers, brutality or misconduct. We as African descendants in 2021 are going to reap the benefits of our ancestors. They built this country, yet we don't lounge and bask in the liberties that everybody else does. It's unjust, it's wrong, and we're going to make that correction in 2020 through solidarity and unity with all the different organizations in this county, in this state, and around the nation. We want people to stand up and make noise tonight. We want people all over this country to get up and make some noise tonight. You should be glad you're alive. And so that's something to be grateful for. You should be glad that you're African descendant. And all the stuff that we've been through and still here, 2020 is the year to get it all correct. And we can do that by supporting little Jake and getting justice for little Jake right here in Kenosha. Is there any questions? I'm sorry.
One question over here.
Yes.
Adrian brought us from CNN.
Hey, sis.
How was your nephew doing, first of all?
So I got to spend a little time with him a couple of weeks ago. Mentally, he's on top of the world. He's our new hero. As an uncle, we should be his hero. But he's our new hero. The way he's taking this mental approach, the way he puts all his effort into his therapy and the passion. If anybody could walk again one day, it'd be my nephew. If his mind catches up to his body, not only would he walk here and run again, sis. So we're playing a game with time, helping him manage his pain. And so please keep the prayers praying, because prayer works. And he needs all of that stuff. Is there any other question? Thank you, sis.
Rob TV Germany.
How you doing, brother?
Fine. If the policeman is not, Mr. Chesky doesn't get indicted, what are your plans?
Well, we're going to keep fighting. We know there's a state venue that we can take it with to be looked at. We know there's a federal venue that we can take it to examine it as well. And we're going to keep fighting. This is great things are happening in Kentucky and other states around long-term not handling their matters in the proper way. So the police officers, we understand, are fired down there, and we hope soon to be indicted.
Next question. One more question. Any for Jacob Blake Sr.
This is my brother, my oldest brother, Jacob Blake. His son is our nephew, Little Jake.
Jacob Sr., Aaron with Fox 6 in Milwaukee. What's your message to Kenosha today and, you know, the days leading up to this decision coming down from the DA?
My message to Kenosha is let's stand up and make some noise.
Yes, sir.
Let's be heard around the world.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to stop in Kenosha. We're headed to D.C.
Yep.
We're headed to Nancy Pelosi's office. We're headed to whoever's going to be in charge of the Senate. Because this has got to be a federally heard for not just my son, but for everybody who's suffered police brutality. Everyone. We have to make some noise and be heard. We can't sit around anymore. We can't wait. Are they going to follow the road that Kentucky took? They're not going to charge them, then they're going to fire them? What sense does that make?
What charges would you like to see?
Attempted murder. He tried to kill my son. He didn't try to take my son down. He tried to kill my son and could have killed my grandchildren.
Yep.
He could have killed the young lady and the child that was standing directly that angle from him, which you will see, and which his lawyers will show.
What do you think is misunderstood about the story?
I think it's clear cut. There's no misunderstanding. He shot him 7 times in his back, unjustifiably. Nobody's life was threatened. The only person's life that was threatened that day was my son, and the only person's life that was taken with it too by that young man that shot them and rode home with a bottle of water from the Kenosha police.
One more question.
Mr. Blake.
One more.
Mr. Blake, Channel 12 News in Milwaukee. They've brought in the National Guard. They've closed off roads.
They brought in the National Guard before.
Do you think that they've already made their decision? The DA's already made their decision?
You think about it. Think about how it looks. What is the National Guard for? They're going to deliver mail? They got ice cream cones? What do you think they're here for? We're ready. We're ready.
So we thank everybody for coming. We're getting ready to march around a little small part of Kenosha. We're going to end up in Civic Park, where we got a couple of speakers. They're going to speak. We thank everybody for coming out on this beautiful day, and we thank you. It's a new year. We remember that. Maybe people were caught off guard in 2020, but now in 2021, we know the facts, we know where we stand, and we know as a community what we must do. I'm sorry, excuse us. Everybody's here in the crowd. We're getting ready to get formed up in the middle of the street. And we're going to follow the same chant. We'll give you hand signs and instructions in less than 3 minutes. If everybody can get in the street, please. We love y'all.
This means go. This means stop, and this means go.
Yeah, that's what it is.
glad you're here. Thank you. Happy New Year. What's up, your breath? Thanks for coming down. Thanks for coming down. Good.